What's happening, guys? TMD here today. I am down the road right now from the farm, and we're at our first woods number one. This is the woods that I originally learned how to make maple syrup in and tap trees in and everything. You may have known, or maybe you didn't know, we took all the sap collection tubing out of this woods. Did that a few weeks ago, and Albert, the man, the myth, the legend, my Amish trusted sidekick and employee, he took this all out in a couple days. Honestly, he just went in here and it was unreal how fast he did it. But anyway, then we got another Amish crew in here to log out some of the other species and some of the trees that just needed to be logged out and give some of the smaller maples some sunlight, some opportunity to grow. And you can see that's kind of what's going on here. We've got a lot of the tops of the trees here on the ground, as you can see. That will be a little bit of an issue getting the tubing back up, because we're going to have to navigate that and traverse around that. I mean, there's definitely some firewood in there, but I do not burn firewood for heat or for evaporating sap. I went to natural gas several years ago. Much easier, much cleaner, much less work. I wouldn't want to go back to burning wood, but hey, if you're local, honestly, if you're local in the area and you want to come in here and clean this up and get some firewood out of it, contact me. I'd be happy to help you out with that. But, you know, that's what we've got going on. We're going to try to get this in yet this fall, winter. We're coming up on winter, honestly, soon. And have it in place for next season. In here, this woods was where, you know, I learned to put up tubing, experimented with it and whatnot. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to putting a new system in here because of all the mistakes and the things that I've learned over the years on how to put it up right. Originally, you know, I was just kind of learning as I go, because I was one of the first people in the area, if not the first in the kind of local immediate area to even have tubing. A lot of people would come in here to check things out and see how it was done. So it was kind of pieced together. Now it'll be fun to put this up the right way. All of it from the get-go, from the beginning. I think we'll have a much cleaner install, and much more efficient, and a much more productive installation. But over here you can see we got quite a bit of logs down. They gotta get these all out of here yet. It's pretty crazy. This area of the woods, the maples were a little light. And yeah, geez, there's a lot here to do. I'm getting a little bit anxious with how long this is taking, I'll be honest with you, because, you know, we're gonna need time to get this in here. And we've had a pretty nice fall so far, not too cold, and the weather's been pretty decent. And as you know, it's much easier to work in the woods when it's nicer and a little bit more mild and not so much snow. So I'm hoping they wrap this up pretty soon so we can get in here and do what we need to do. But a lot of basswood in this area of the woods, and that's what they are taking out of here. And there's definitely some ash and a few oaks here and there, but this is cleaning this up, and you might as well do it when the tubing is down, because this is going to be the last tubing I'll ever put up. I mean, in this woods for sure. I don't see myself going beyond another lifespan of the tubing here, which in this woods originally, probably some of the first stuff we put up was close to 20 years ago, and then I just kind of kept adding on it after that. But this isn't a real big woods by any means. There's probably about 10 acres, about 1,000 taps in here. It's my favorite woods. It's definitely the most productive one we have. The highest yielding, highest sugar content. A lot of hard maple in here, mostly hard maple, and a lot of bigger, older, mature trees. So down in this end, it's kind of flat, not a lot of slope. So this one is kind of where I learned to put up some sap ladders and things of that nature, and just learn to work with that, and it's definitely opened things up quite a bit. Let's go over here and look at one tree that we're not going to take out. That's because we told them not to, and this specifically is a nice big red oak tree. Look at that thing way up there. I mean, the logger estimated that that one probably went back to, I don't know, around 150 years old. So this tree has definitely seen a lot in its day. It's seen the turn of the century, World War I, World War II, Vietnam. It's lived through all that, you know, so it'd be a shame to take it down. And most recently, it saw the rise of the Hawktua girl. So my guy, I think we'll cut you down now. It's just not going to get any better. Kind of show you some things from the past. Right here is the wreckage, kind of like the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald on the bottom of Lake Superior. We've got the wreck of maple syrup making from years gone by here on the old dairy farm. This is where I remember coming out here with my grandpa and my dad, and these are the arches that we boiled on. Just a couple of flat pans on these things. Right out in the middle of the woods, out in the open. We had no shelter. We just did it in the elements, in the weather. But that is where I kind of learned my skill and got my desire to pursue this as years went by. And then check this out over here, guys. This brings back some memories. This stump right here, let me turn the camera around, or what's left of that stump, I remember this as a kid, and I mean, this goes back well over 40 years ago now at this point. But right next to these two arches and pans where we were boiling or cooking, again, if you're from Wisconsin, there was a nice big sugar maple tree here that always got tapped, and it got tapped a lot consistently year after year after year, and I would say it got over tapped. So we tapped it to death. That was a tree that was tapped to death. It was a murder. But you can see the evidence of the crime over here. Those are still pieces of that log that actually never got used for firewood or anything. But yeah, that tree definitely got tapped many, many times. Even though it was quite large, its cause of death on the obituary was over tapping. Let's keep walking along here, guys. A lot of memories in this woods for sure. Learned everything I know. That's why I became the Maple Dude, because of this location right here. Now we're just probably another 50, 60 feet to the east, and this here was another tragedy, another crime, a crime scene, you might say, in the world of maple syrup. But if you take a look at this tree, let me tell you the story on that one. This is another nice, really big sugar maple tree. Well, back when I was learning to shoot a gun, getting into hunting and all that, I would come down here and I wanted to shoot my guns, shoot my shotgun, shoot my 22, my 30-30, and have target practice. Well, what I did without asking anybody was I put a piece of plywood a target on that tree, nailed it to it, and then I had paper targets and I attached those to that. And that tree became the backstop for my target practice. And I know it had a big wound in here, and it just got bam, 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 bam. It got shot to death. This tree actually was killed by a gun. It's true. I bet you not many people have ever seen anything like that before. But that poor tree was a really nice tree too. And actually, many years after I found out how dumb that was, we continued to tap it and it looked great. But then just a few years ago here, it fell over because there was a big hole in the side that never really healed over. So we've killed trees by tapping them and shooting them in here. Well, and speaking of getting shot to death like that tree, it is deer hunting season here in Wisconsin. It's opening weekend for the deer gun rifle season. And I'm out here in the woods strolling around without any Blaze Orange on. So I definitely hope I make it to the end of this video without myself getting shot. That'd probably get the most views though that I've ever gotten on any video if that happened. I'll tell you this, the older I get this time of year, late November is the darkest, cloudiest, dreariest month in Wisconsin. And we just don't get a lot of sunlight. And then of course you couple that with the short days. Although the sunsets get later until about a month from now. I mean, when it's cloudy out and dreary like this, you know, it's getting dark around 4:20, 4:30, and that works on your psyche for sure. Each and every year, I need that sunlight. But guys, I do like taking you on a walk through here. I'm glad you're watching. Guys, please please subscribe to the channel. Just a lot of different things on this channel now. I mean, it started out as primarily as maple info and reviewing products and equipment and things like that, but now we're getting into a lot of other different things, kind of life here in central Wisconsin. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know, here it was fun walking through this woods. A lot of history in this woods. A lot of the trees up in this area right here have been tapped by me, obviously even my son Jack helping, my dad, my grandpa. So you know, a lot of these trees up in this area have been tapped for 100 years. There's a little bit of scraps and whatnot from the tubing that was pulled out. Not much of that left because we actually burned the rest of it. You know, I know that maple producers like to make a natural product that's in tune with nature. You know, it's a sustainable, wholesome product. Burning it, of course, you know, that releases a lot of toxic fumes into the air, and that's something that's problematic. And you know, you can see the smoke from miles and miles around, so we burn it at night to alleviate that problem, and then everything's good. You know, it's still all kosher and everybody feels good about the situation. So guys, hope you enjoyed that little walk through the woods. A little history, a little update, a little comedy, a few funny stories. Guys, please please subscribe. I appreciate you watching. You know, I really do. Hit that notification bell. Have a great week. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And remember, always keep it real.